Okay, what's the funniest thing that happened to you when you were at the Brazilian favela?
The funniest thing?
Yeah, the funniest thing.
Jeez. I don't know if there was much funny happening in the
Okay,
Brazilian
what was the
favela.
scariest thing?
The scariest thing about the Brazilian favela was walking home at 5:30 in the morning one night from the club by myself and coming face to face with a gangster who had never seen me before. And obviously when they're looking out for police and all that stuff and some sort of intruders or a supple, I walked up and he's seen me not looking Brazilian at all. And so he pulls out a gun from underneath his shirt and then cocks it and just keeps staring at me. And so I just had to nonchalantly and slightly drunk keep walking and just act like it meant nothing. But the next day I reflected and I really realized that I could have lost my life that day.
I guess I came across you first on Instagram. One day I was
Yeah.
kind of just, I don't know, I was scrolling through Insta and then I saw this account called Life of Baz.
Yeah.
And you were just creating a lot of content about Chile.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your name, who you are, what's your story?
So my name's Baz, and I'm a Chilean-born Australian, raised in here in Sydney. And I moved to Sydney when I was 6 years old, born in Santiago. And 8 months ago, I moved back to Santiago to find my culture and to get a bit more in touch with it. And through moving back to Santiago, I found a lot of home, a lot of my soul in it. And I found a bunch of beautiful people who look like me, talk like me, and have personality and heart that I like to put myself in the same category as. And that's what I found about Chile.
When you were here in Sydney, like you live with your mum, right? Is that right?
Yep, I moved here just with my mom,
Yeah. And how old were you when you moved here?
6 years old.
And did you feel a sense of, did you feel Chilean Australian growing up? Did you speak Spanish at home?
No, so when I moved to Australia, I really, really wanted to fit in. So actually, I kind of did the opposite thing and I really pressured my mom to not speak to me in Spanish because I just wanted to fit in. I already looked different. My skin color was a bit darker than everybody else. I went to a school in Mascot, which is a large population of either Aboriginal or very, very Australian, pale skin, blonde hair, blue eyes type of people. And so I found myself learning English and a slight bit of bullying through that in my young age and just trying to fit in and become accustomed to the life here in Australia.
If you spoke English with your mum mostly, who did you speak Spanish with?
Pretty much the only person that I had to speak Spanish with was my abuela, but the Spanish levels that I was speaking with my abuela was very, very basic. You know, the hola, como estás, fue tu día, you know, what did you do today? All those kind of things, just like the very, very basics.
So did you ever like hang out with other Chileans here in Sydney before you moved to Chile?
Honestly, here in Sydney, it's kind of hard to find your people, especially Chileans. Our Latin community, we have them, but it's so spread out. And for me, I'm from the coast, I'm from the east, from San Susi, from Cronulla, the Shire, all those kind of parts. And I always found that if I found the Chilean, and if I met them, they were always out in the west, in Fairfield, in like close to Cabramatta, you know, it's Liverpool. And so not really. Whenever I did come across a Chilean, I definitely embraced them. And I think it's something that's part of our culture, just as Latinos in general. Whenever we meet another person from South America, they almost immediately always feel like family.
Did you ever visit like Pochitos or Paula or any of those Chilean bakeries here?
Yeah, so I visited Pochitos once with my mum. She took me, she said, oh, we got to go try this Chilean place in Mascot. It's really good. And that was honestly my first experience of really getting involved in something where I'm mixing Australia and Chile together. That was the first time that I tried a mote con morcillo here again. It was the first time I ever tried a chorillana. And so that was kind of, I guess, my first insight to mixing the two.
What made you want to kind of get your things and head to Chile and move to Chile? Like, what was that? Or was it a couple of things that you did before that?
Well, I had just come from living in Thailand and in Vietnam for almost a whole year. And so I was ready to come back to Australia, and my mum said that she wanted me to go back to Chile to go and see our family, to specifically go and celebrate my Tata's 80th birthday. And so the original plan was just to be there for a month. And so when I went there, I was super nervous because, you know, a lot of people knew about me, but obviously leaving the country at such a young age, I didn't really know them. And so when I went there, I was very nervous and I was had no expectations. But when I arrived there, I found warmth, I found comfortability, and I found people and a family who welcomed me with open arms. And from that point on, I guess my life kind of shifted, and I went from staying there from 1 month to now being there for 8 months.
What was the biggest culture shock you faced when you first arrived to Chile?
I guess just the type of people. It's just kind of crazy that you can meet people you can feel so in touch with and such like family with all the time. um, yeah, that guy threw me up like that. I would say the biggest culture shock that I think I came across was the warmth in the people. Honestly, it sounds like such a simple and it sounds like just such a simple concept, but the fact that you can meet a stranger in Chile and you can almost immediately feel like your family and you can feel like you're welcome. It's something that I had never really experienced. Of course, here in Australia we have beautiful people, and I'm not trying to take away from that. But the standards of living, the wages, the salaries, all these things play in such a big part of day-to-day life in Chile, and you never ever feel like you're intruding in somebody, or you're intruding in somebody's life. You never feel like you're taking away from somebody's plate. You know, they always welcome you. Hey, do you want a pancito? ¿Quieres un palta? Te puedo dar una bebida? ¿Quieres tomar algo? You know, just anything. Like every single day, it just always just felt like family. Every single day that I show up to my grandma's house, ¿qué almorzaste hoy día? You know, have you eaten lunch today? Just it's the first question because she's just worried about me, making sure that I'm in bed. You know?
What's Abuelita's name? Let's give her a shout out.
Abuelita's name is Amparo. Shout out to Amparito. Abuelita, te amo.
So we've seen you all over social media, and we've seen you making some crazy videos, doing some crazy experiences. What got you into starting to vlog your experience in Chile?
Well, I guess it's just because I've always been a traveler who kind of likes to step outside of their comfort zone, but you know, I never really put it on record a lot of the time. And so when I made my first solo travel to Thailand, I slowly started to put up little videos, and I would get messages from friends being like, bro, like you need to stick to that. Like there's something you got going on, something like you're hitting like a certain angle that's just super interesting. And so I just got a lot of love when I got straight to Santiago. I remember I made my first video in Santiago the very first morning I was there because I couldn't sleep. And I went out with my sister and we just went exploring, holding a mic just like this, and we walked around and I spoke about my experiences and my first thoughts of Santiago City. And it got a lot of attention immediately, and I kind of just went, okay, this is cool. And I think the angle of me learning about my culture from an English perspective, as an Australian, has just brought the attention and a lot of interest for other like-minded people and other people that have similar backgrounds. So, you know, I get a lot of messages from people that are half American, half Chilean, half Australian, half Chilean, half from the UK, half Chilean, like people that aren't really in touch with their culture, but through their videos, they see a little bit of them. And so it's been a real honor to be able to teach people a little bit more about Chile through my eyes.
When you were in Chile, was there anyone who kind of spotted that you maybe, you know, were Aussie or you grew up in Australia or anything, like any giveaway signs?
That like I was Aussie?
Yeah,
Or that
like your accent? Like did they go, oh,
yeah,
¿tú
definitely.
dónde?
No. Definitely when I showed up, I definitely copped a few looks and a few questions because I would have like some sort of gringo accent. And I still somewhat do, but I think 8 months in Chile without anybody knowing English has pretty much helped me get rid of it a little bit. You know, if I speak for a long time, if I give you a whole paragraph, I'll probably say a couple words that might make you start thinking, hey, where the fuck's this guy from, you know?
And did you notice in Chile, like that people were also using a little bit of English? Like, is that common now to kind of use Spanglish, or is it still mostly Spanish?
Honestly, in my experience, not a lot of people know English in Chile. I've struggled a lot trying to do it. I've kind of just had to just go straight to speaking Spanish and just throwing myself in the dirt and kind of making myself look stupid sometimes in order to practice. But actually, it's been the best thing for me because it's forced me to learn. It's forced me to become accustomed to certain words and yeah, new little Chilean slangs and stuff.
Give us a Chilean slang that you love, that's new, that you learned while being in Chile.
I got certain words that I use now,
Okay,
like Chilean. Like my favorite word the last couple of months has been brígido.
Rígido. What's that mean?
Brígido, it's like tough. It's something to explain that's tough, but it's got multiple uses. So for example, like if you worked really hard, if you went somewhere and it was like a tough experience and you didn't enjoy it, you can say this was brígido, you know. If you had like a long haul flight, that flight was brígido, you know. If you know somebody with some really sad news and it's like a shock to you, you could say, oh, eso es super brígido, you know. It's like you can. That's been my favorite word the last couple of months.
Any other slang or words that you...
Yeah, another little slang that I've been using a lot because my uncle, shout out to Maori, uses this one a lot, is cachai. It's a Chilean slang word for you get it. So, you know, when you're explaining a story, blah, 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 you would usually say cachai, 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 just to say, like, do you understand what I'm talking about right now? And so I've been using that one pretty freely.
Do you find that Chileans use their, you know how like Argentinians use their hand a lot, like boludo, che, que te pasa? Do Chileans have any type of like mannerisms or?
I guess not so much for general conversation, but if they get upset with you, they start pulling these ones out. they start clicking it. Some people say it's a bit flaky to do that. But you know what flaky is?
Well, explain to people what's a flight there.
Okay, flaky it can be a derogatory term depending on who you're using it on and if they believe that they are a flaky or they're not. I guess the easiest way to explain what a flaky could be, it's basically like I guess like a person from the street, not like a homeless person, but I guess it would be like in level with a lad in Australia. Or like, you know, something like that.
I think that's a good comparison.
Yeah. So a good way to spot a flight there in Chile, if you haven't, when you go to Chile, flight there, most likely wearing some sort of Gucci hat or Louis Vuitton, Giorgio Armani shirt, you know, got an expensive little fake Gucci handbag. Very popular on the flight there starter pack is to be wearing a pair of jeans with grips on them. And so that's your flight tutorial today.
Do you like the term influencer? Do you consider yourself an influencer?
Great question. I get called an influencer in Chile all the time, and it always makes me feel a bit like because honestly, I'm just posting about my life, and I've always said that. I just post about me, my experiences overseas, and I guess if it influences a couple of people to make certain decisions, whether it's a travel choice or a restaurant, you know, decision or to go try a new spot, then I guess it could be an influencer, but I don't really like to be called that.
Have you met a special someone in Chile? Like, has anyone crossed your path romantically?
Yes, I did meet someone in Chile. I met a beautiful Chilean girl pretty quickly into my visit there, and it's been a great adventure so far together. She's my sidekick when it comes to all of my content. She gives me a lot of credit for the content, but I have to give her at least half of it. She helps me with a lot of the ideas. We share a lot of cultural exchanges between us.
So is she Chilean?
She's completely Chilean. She's fully Chilean. And yeah, speaks English. And so she practices her English with me. I practice my Spanish with her. And together we've just been able to combine this Spanglish relationship now, and so it's been a really cool experience having someone there from Chile to kind of like open my eyes up a lot deeper into the culture and into something that she's grown up with in her everyday walk.
Do you have any typical like Spanish names for her, like cute names that you call her, like amorcito or like?
Yeah, like bebecita, amorcita.
What does she call
Guaguita.
You? Guaguita, Chilean. And does she give you like content ideas? Like, hey, you should go check out this place. Or,
yes, absolutely. She gives me content ideas. I think over the last, you know, she saw me when I was just starting these South American videos. So she's watched me seriously begin this traction, this roller coaster of views and for some reason influence. And so she's got this influencer mindset with her as well, or this content creator mindset, and she'll send me ideas sometimes in the middle of the night and goes, oh, I have an idea. For example, yesterday I was going to make a reel on me voting for my first time here in Chile, and I realized that they closed the voting off at the end of June, so I actually wasn't able to vote yesterday, which kind of sucked. So I was kind of like, I guess I won't go. But she hit me with an idea, and she was like, you should go and interview other people that are voting and get their opinions on why they're voting here in Chile. And so it's just crazy teamwork. It's honestly flawless teamwork when it comes to content, and it's something that I never feel alone with when it comes
And
to
are you
that.
gonna bring it to Australia one day?
She's coming to Australia with me. She was supposed to come now, but we're on a beautiful wave over in Santiago, over in Chile right now, and so we've pushed it back a little bit, but we're definitely be coming and exploring Sydney City together next year, probably around April.
Are you okay doing this walking interview?
Love it. It's nice. Feels good to be able to have a phone out in the open space and not have to look over your shoulder a little bit. It's touch and go. It's I love Santiago. I love Chile, but we it's South America. At the end of the day, it's some realities that we face in our beautiful
100%.
continent.
And speaking of, like, have you traveled to any other countries and created content? I think I saw content for you in Bolivia and
Yeah.
in Brazil. What was that like?
It's absolutely beautiful. Bolivia, stunning. I severely underrated how beautiful the country is, how beautiful the people are, and I would absolutely recommend anybody go to Bolivia. I visited the Uyuni Salt Flats, which is the largest salt flat on the planet. I visited La Paz, which is home to a witches market. It has so much tradition, so much culture, so much color and vibrancy. I've never been to a city with so much art and just, it was absolutely beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful cities, La Paz.
What made you go there? Did you know someone? Did you just have a feeling?
I didn't know anybody. You see, like, I've over the last year and a half, I've learned to kind of step into a little bit of the unknown. And Bolivia was always a bit of the unknown. It's right next to Chile, and it's also more affordable than Chile. So it was something where I was like, oh, maybe I could just do a quick little pit stop.
Yeah.
And so I dedicated about 3 weeks there, and I took a bus all the way there. So it was.
Did you go through the Los Andes to get there? how you-
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
No. I went up. So I went up through the Atacama Desert. So I went up through the Atacama Desert, and then I went through the Bolivian border through there. The bus rides were ridiculous. Long, hard bus rides. 12 hours to 8 hours, 14 hours sometimes. Difficult bus rides. Super duro.
And favorite moment of Bolivia? Like, what was like a super wow moment?
Honestly, the Uyuni Salt Flats was something that I just felt like I was on another planet. Like, when you step into a place, you hop out of this 4x4, and when you look absolutely everywhere, you only see a horizon full of salt on the floor, just pure white everywhere. It was absolutely insane. And I'm talking about white salt for kilometers. Salt so pure that you can pick it up off the floor and eat it. Like, I literally have a bag of like 2 or 3 kilos salt that I took from Bolivia back to Chile, and I just put it on my asado and whatever now at home. And it's the best tasting salt, and it's pure white, it's delicious, it's just amazing. I'd say that was my highlight of Bolivia for sure.
And then we saw content about you going to Brazil. We heard
Yes.
about your experience in one of the favelas, but what made you want to go to Brazil? What kind of made that
Yeah.
decision for you?
Yeah, so this is going to sound a bit crazy to most people, because when you think of Brazil, you think of, obviously, it's what it was, a beautiful place full of greenery, full of beaches, full of music. But the place that I decided to stay in on my second visit was a Brazilian favela. And I stayed there because on my first visit to Brazil in March, I became friends with a tour guide there. And he told me, hey man, next time you come to Brazil, I would love for you to stay in my favela and make some content. And so that's what I did. I had it in my mind, and I'm the type of person that once I kind of say I commit to something, I just have to do it. I just have to do it. There's something that's in me that just has to do it. And so I made a trip over there, took one backpack with me, and I walked straight into a Brazilian favela. I walked straight into Santa Marta, where they filmed the Michael Jackson music video a long time ago. And I lived in a Brazilian favela amongst the community there for a few weeks. It was absolutely the most insane experience that I've ever had in my whole life. I was easily the most foreigner person there, but the Brazilians welcomed me with open arms. Portuguese isn't the same as Spanish, unfortunately. I can get a few words here and there, but communication was
How did you communicate
difficult.
with the locals?
It was difficult. Thankfully, my friend, my tour guide, spoke English and also a bit of Spanish, so I was able to speak with him a lot. But the locals in the favela, like, they don't speak anything besides like street Brazilian. So honestly, it's a lot of it is just through body language. It's just like the universal like language of good vibes, you know? Like you can tell if somebody's buena onda, you know, you can tell. And so I was always in there with a light heart and a smile and open to learning new things about them, and then they would reciprocate the same back to me.
What
And
was the most beautiful, like, maybe not unexpected, but like something that you really took away from the favelas that you're like, wow, I wish everyone could see this part of it?
what I took away from the favelas is honestly being able to be grateful. Although the favelas don't have people that, you know, I think a lot of people have this misconception of the favela that everybody is in there like desperate and poor and like with nothing. And honestly, that's not the case always. I went in there and saw a beautiful community who took care of each other, who looked out for each other, who followed guidelines around each other, who helped, you know. Of course, it had its positives and its negatives. I just found that people in the favela made the most of very limited resources,
Yeah.
and they always had a smile on their face.
Like, did you learn any street Portuguese?
I learned like a couple words, like valeu, which just means like an okay, like a thank you, like a kind of like, yeah, like it's a very, very, very common response. And then another one when like, you know, you want like almost de cachai, tá ligado is a word that they say, which I learned from my friend Atlas and my friend Alex when I was over there. So that's de cachai.
And do you have like a country in mind that you're going to go to next?
Honestly, when I go back to Chile in the next week or two, I would love to go and visit Argentina. So there's a beautiful drive that you can do through the Andes Mountains from Santiago. It's about 6 hours. That'll get you through to Mendoza in Argentina, where you can ride horses through the hills and the vineyards of Argentina. And so I had a friend on Instagram to go the other day, and I just got crazy FOMO. I looked at it and I was like, I'm going there. So it'll be an adventure going to the Andes, because it's one of the craziest routes. Actually, you have to go through the Andes Mountains, some pretty crazy, treacherous, curvy roads out there. So we're gonna have to be careful. But Argentina is definitely on my list now.
Who's some of the craziest people that have followed you recently?
So had a couple. The first one that followed me was Visit South America with over 230k followers, and that was great because they found me through this viral video that I had recording my Tio Maori, my uncle. I was trying to speak to his friend, and my American friend Khalifa was sitting in the background. Khalifa had arrived 2 days before, and he claimed that he knew Spanish because he lived in California, and so he knew Mexican Spanish. But you can see the absolute confusion in Khalifa's face when my uncle, who speaks very, very straight, is speaking to his friend in complete Chilean, and they're throwing out, you know, words like culiao, maricon, and all these slang, you know, and you can just see the absolute confusion in his face. And Visit South America saw that, and they reached out and they reposted my video. And
They reposted it?
Yes,
Nice.
they took it and then they posted it as their own. They tagged me and then they followed me, and yeah. Another one would be Marca Chile, and so they were doing a bit of a honor post to people that are bringing attention to Chile, and a few influencers over there, or a few content creators over there, and one of them was a friend of mine, and so I commented on it, and they wrote on their post like who else do you think should be on this next version? And I had a few people comment me, and so I wrote myself. I was like, yo, I'm a content creator here. They checked out my stuff and they followed me. But my biggest one, and I'm eternally grateful for this one, is what I would consider the biggest reggaeton artist in all of Chile, and that would be Pablo Chile. For those of you who aren't aware of Pablo Chile, he's got a song with Bad Bunny. He's an incredible artist, incredible trap artist, from Santiago, from Puente Alto. And so he's been following me for the last couple of weeks, and it's just been pretty insane because I'm just doing me, and I'm kind of just I'm just posting about my life. So the fact that it's reached out to somebody that big and he's consciously decided to follow along and support has been pretty crazy, because I can imagine that he's probably seen my videos more than once. I would say I don't think he's following me based off one video.
Congrats on that. That's a massive account to follow.
I appreciate
that follows
it.
you.
Yeah.
And if you want to have like a dream person to follow you or a dream collab, who would that be? What would that look like?
Well, honestly, I would still stick with the Pablo Chile collab, honestly, because Pablo's so respected in Chile. He's truly respected. He's become an icon on the streets of Santiago, you know. And so I would love to do some sort of collab with him. He does a lot of stuff for the community, a lot of stuff for the people who are less fortunate, a lot of stuff for the young kids. And so I would seriously love to do some sort of collaboration video where I can show what he does for everybody out in Santiago.
And if you were to have like a dream collab with like a business or a company or anything like that, who would it be?
You know what? The best company that I think we would work great together would actually be Latam, because I'm from Sydney. I go to Santiago all the time. Collaboration with Latam would be a dream, and it would be I think a really good angle in where I can connect people from Chile and from Australia, and you know, unite those two relationships together in those two worlds.
I have two more questions before we finish up.
Let's do it.
Before we get to the advice one,
Yeah,
I noticed you have a lot of tattoos.
I do.
And
I have a few.
yeah, just a splash. And so I want to know the one that is on your neck. What is? Like, first, let me do a little zoom.
Yeah.
What is a cielo? What's the story behind that?
Cielo, heaven. So heaven or sky in Spanish. You know, for me, I've always grown up as I went to a Catholic high school, and even though I went to a Catholic high school, my belief and my religion through that was always like on a bit of a balance board. Do I believe in it? Do I not? Do I not? Do I believe in it? Do I not? And I think over time, I've started to like, not strongly, but I've definitely started to lean more onto my faith a little bit more, and onto the fact that we have a gigantic universe and a gigantic world out there, and we have a lot more than what we're experiencing right at this second. And so cielo always makes me think that there's like something greater, something bigger.
Is there anything you got done in Chile?
Yeah, I got a few done in Chile. I got this little bear done in Chile. I got this little bear done in Chile. It was only like $15.
$15 for tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was pretty good.
What made you get the teddy bear?
Why?
Why? Yeah.
I just thought it looked cool. Honestly, like with my style of tattoos, I kind of just, I look at them and I'm like, okay, I don't know. I kind of just like, sometimes I just feel like I get drawn to a certain style of tattoos, and honestly, yeah. But I would like to bring attention to one tattoo that I often see, and that would be my hand one. And this one says, "They come, they go." And I honestly live my life through "they come, they go." And that's because throughout my life, I've found that, you know, great relationships and friendships and people that you meet on the road on this journey called life, through traveling, through experiences and adventure, they come into your life and they can be the number one, the number two most impactful people in your life, and then one day they need to leave and do their own journey. And that goes for a lot of people that I've met in my life. A lot of people that are from different countries that I never knew I would get to become friends with. And so, yeah, they come and they go.
Love that. The wristbands,
Yeah.
are they Chilean?
So I've collected these throughout the last 2 years since I started my traveling. If you see this little white one over here, this one was given to me by a monk in Chiang Mai in Thailand. So a monk blessed that. That was the first one that I started with. And then after that, I just started collecting them. This was obviously a Bolivian flag, and then 2 from Brazil. Over here, we got some from the Atacama Desert, and then this one represents love.
You have a beautiful experience and story where you moved to Australia from a young age at 6 years old with your mum from Chile. You grew up here. You had that sense of connection, but then you also didn't have that sense of connection. You made the move overseas, and you eventually found yourself living in Chile, and you found yourself a special someone, and then creating content and exploring different South American countries. What advice would you give to someone who wants to do something similar?
I would say go for it. Just make sure that when you go for it, you stay with an open mind. Keep your arms open and be ready for whatever happens, the good and potentially some of the not so great things. You know, traveling in this journey of life, especially when you're in foreign countries, can have its very, very highs, and sometimes it can have its lows. And so, You know, my journey has been filled with a lot of them, and I've been very, very lucky to kind of allow them to happen, to come through me, and allow myself to learn through them. So what I would say to anybody trying to look to do the same, I would say just fully embrace it, just be open to it, and just be open to this cultural experience that you can get everywhere around the world. It's the best thing for growth in your personal life. It's the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Really appreciate this and your time, and wish you all the best with the rest of your work and your travels and your endeavors.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this. It's been great.